Are you going into that second quarter sequence like, hey, I need to light our own team up, basically saying that to yourself, or is it just because what happened with the Pelicans? That's just what happened.
I knew we needed a boost. We were just kind of flat, no energy, kind of letting those guys get wherever they wanted to go. See? Letting those guys get wherever they wanted to go. Hold on, baby. And so I just wanted to get us fired up. And once the foul happened, they started talking. Like, it's a hard foul, but it's not dirty. He didn't jump or anything. I caught him on the floor. I hit him with a shoulder. So once they started talking, then they gave me an in to kind of get us fired up, and I used that, and we got going.
Did CJ say anything in particular that?
Yeah, he started talking about the foul. But I got a lot of respect for CJ. He's a guy who's been good in this league a long time, but that's my type of situation. I enjoy that, so I appreciate it. It's good.
Drem, did you feel like this was? We always ask playoff intensity or playoff level, but did this feel like a playoff game to you?
It did, and as it should. There's two teams fighting for positioning. Could possibly be in a tiebreaker situation, and you got to take care of home court. We gave one away last game, me in particular, and got to do something to get that back. And so, can't lose two in a row at home, especially at this point in the year, understanding our circumstances. So, it definitely felt like a playoff game, as it should have.
You've been known to use tactics to get your team fired up. Is this an example of that? I mean, was this?
It was perfect, right? Perfectly executed.
How much of that was just the importance of the game, and how much of it was the fact that you guys were most of the first half was just kind of out there, and how much of it was carryover from the last game?
We looked dead those first 18 minutes of the game, and then we had to find some energy somewhere, and I knew, it just wasn't going to come, especially losing the game like we lost the game last game, like that can carry over, and I felt like it did. So just knew we had to do something to do it fast before the game got out of control. And, they hit a couple shots there at the end of the half to increase their lead, but it didn't feel real. Yes. It didn't feel real. It felt like, they hit a couple. We turned the ball over a couple times. They hit a couple shots in transition. But right before that, CJ had a wide open layup and he missed it. And B.I. had one of his shots and he missed it. And so you could just feel that, they were out of sorts. Yet we turned the ball over a couple times, gave them stuff in transition, and they boosted their lead. But, coming into the half, I knew we had them right where we needed to have them. And, we came out a minute 16 seconds in on an 8-0 run. And, that was huge, and it turned the game for us.
Draymond. Over here, sorry. Draymond, you picked up another tech tonight. Do you think the league will rescind it? And if they don't...
What's your thoughts on that? Do you think it should get rescinded?
Do I think so?
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
But if it doesn't, are you concerned at all about picking up another and facing a suspension before the season ends?
No, I've been suspended once. And so it is what it is. I got to play with the same intensity that I play with each. Hold on, baby. I have to play with the same intensity that I try to play with each and every time I step on the court, and can't worry about that. Hold on, shit. Okay. And and for me, if I'm going to change my intensity level, then why be out there? Why? I may as well sit out the game if I'm going to go out there timid and worry about getting another tech. But like I said, I expect that one to get rescinded. I mean, I'm not sure. Should I let him kiss me? That's how close he got to my face, or just kind of put my arms out to protect my space. So I do expect it to get rescinded.
You're saying how...
Not done yet. Almost, okay? I see you.
You're saying how you perfectly executed your getting your teammates fired up and stuff. What are you saying to them in those instances? What buttons are you pressing, and how do you kind of go about navigating?
Just really making sure, just trying to get the energy level up. It's not necessarily that you're saying one particular thing, but at the point that I'm going to put myself out there like that, then you hope guys will back me up. And if not, then our season's over anyway. So that's kind of where I was, is like, I'm going all out here and, need guys to rise to the occasion. And everybody did. Everybody who stepped on that floor rose to the occasion. And, that's what you'd hope for in that situation. And, I got to give a lot of credit to my teammates. They backed me up as good as anyone has ever backed me up before.
Draymond,
You can go ahead.
Steve Kerr says he trusts you to do, whether it's playing with fouls or yelling at the team and yelling at the other bench and yelling at him, and that it was well-deserved and needed tonight. I mean, is that you've been with Steve for so long, is that just happening over years of knowing each other and respect?
You want to talk? Okay, you want me to talk now? Okay, I think so. Me and Steve, and obviously Steph, Clay, Loon, Jordan, now J.K. Like, we've been through wars together, especially the guys that's been here for a long time, and that trust is there. Like, he trusts me to toe that line and do what I do and bring what I bring to the floor, and I trust him to make the right call. When he subbed me out, after all of that happened with my third foul, J.K. said, I wasn't going to come get you because I thought you was just going to send me back, which I was. And then I looked at Steve, and he's like, no, come out. And so, I trusted him to go out, and he put me back in. And when your coach has trust like you in that, it's like if you're a shooter, and you can't buy a bucket, but your coach has confidence in you and tell you to keep shooting. That's huge. And that's my version of that, where it seems as if everything is going wrong, and yet, he's totally allowing me to be me. He's trusting me with 3 fouls. He's trusting me with 4 fouls with 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the third quarter. And, when he shows that type of trust, I can't break that and, go pick up a dumb foul. Like, you got to make sure that trust stays there. And I thought it was huge for us tonight and a huge part of the reason we won this game.
Draymond, how important was Bob Myers' voice on the bench? I think it was after that 5th foul, and kind of what was his message to keep you locked in on this?
It was huge. He came down and he was like, listen, all right, you proved your point and you may have been right, but if you stay that way, guys are going to follow you. If you turn it around right now and get back in the huddle, guys will follow that. And it was huge. I got back in the huddle. I challenged our guys, and we went out and boosted the lead even more. So I think, that's when you see, like, y'all don't always get to see Bob's worth, and other than, like, putting a team together. But he's so important to everything that we do. Like, I can't imagine, and I know this league, like, GMs don't keep a pulse of the team like Bob keeps a pulse of this team. And maybe 2 other GMs in the league right there would come down to the bench and say something. And so, and then that's also someone who I have the utmost respect for. If Bob comes and tells me something, that's Bible to me. I'm going to listen to that. But that's a relationship that has been built over the course of the last 11 years, and that is a relationship that'll continue to grow over the next 40 years. So, for him to come down in that moment and say something to me, you got to honor that, and it was huge.
And then to have Gary Payton actually after the game, I saw you guys having a really good talk after the game right there. To have another defensive all-time great that you can always lean on to, what's that relationship like as well?
It's huge. Number one, you make sure you're telling us I'm better than him at dominoes. So let's never get that twisted. But no, as you know, man, GP's one of the OGs. He's one of the guys you got the ultimate respect for, and to have him around is always huge. And, when you can get words of advice from a Hall of Famer, from a champion, a guy who's done it year in and year out, knows what it takes, you got to take that advice. And so I'm lucky to have a guy like that in my corner, and knowing that, he's willing to share that game, because it's free game, and not oftentimes are you able to get free games from Hall of Famers. So I cherish that.
Draymond, when you're locked in and intense, it's pretty obvious, like it was tonight. When Steph's extra locked in, Do you see something in his eyes, his body language? Because he clearly tonight took it to another level.
It's definitely in his eyes. It's his body language. It's the demeanor he carries, and he's not going to be loud about it. But you know how to follow it, and when I turned it up a notch, he turned it up another 2 notches, and I fell back in line, and we followed him, and I thought that was huge. That's the intensity, the defense. That's my department I lead in. Obviously on the offensive side, we know what Steph does, but the composure side of things, that's his area that he leads in. And so once he brought it back, once he dialed it all in, we all hopped in line and followed him, and he was locked in. And, no one was stopping him. He made plays on both sides of the ball and, helped carry us to a win.
A little on that thing, Jim. Did you see Steph after kind of had to get pulled out of that scrum? He was yelling. I'm not quite sure who he was yelling at. Is it about as amped up as you seen him in a moment like that?
Absolutely. But if there's one guy I know always going to ride with me, it's Steph. And so, I've never been in a situation like that before, and he has not rode for me. And same goes with Clay. Guys who – and there's other guys on this team. Loon, they're going to ride with me in those situations. And, when that gives you the ultimate comfort to be exactly who you are, knowing that guys going to ride, and Dante rode, Jordan rode, J.K. rode, everybody who checked in the game, they rode. But I thought it was huge. And Steph, and that does something for the morale, because if he's not in that, then everybody else may not join in, But with him getting in that scrum and being in the fire with me, everyone else, you just have to fall in line.